Hey, Ben Baxter here in the Anglers All Tying Studio. Going to tie up a Flugenzombie today. It's getting into streamer season and tying season. It's a great articulated pattern. It's got a lot of variations that you can twist into it. Check it out. All right, let's get started. I'm working with a 210 Danville in a black on a 2461 Daiichi size 1. This fly is going to end up being a pretty good size fly. I'd definitely say a 7 or 8 weight for sure to toss this bad boy. Throw in a couple clumps of Marabou for her tail. Okay, so with this fly, it really just looks a lot better with these longer Marabou fibers. Just swims really well. Alright, next step, we're going to tie in our hackle materials. As you can see here, got 2 different feathers. The one on your left would be the one that's going to be on the front. This one is going to be on the rear. You can see there's definitely a little size difference to them. Kind of help with the taper of the fly. Again, in the complex twist bugger video that I did, this is the exact same technique that you're doing here. Tying in a couple different feathers and a little bit of polar chenille. Actually on this one, it's Aqua Veil, the Senyo's Aqua Veil. In the chocolate covered cherry variety. Advance my thread forward. I'm just going to do a tiny little quick whip finish there. Move my bobbin hanger over. Take my little cocodrilo tool from Stonfo. Clip in all 3 of those. Just brush as you go. Kind of trying to keep that tail out. It really wants to pull the tail into that. Definitely helps if you keep brushing that tail out too. Whip finish. I'll clean that up just a smidge. Alright, so that's the back half. I'm going to brush that out just a little bit. One thing I really like about any rotary vise, especially this Regal Revolution, it just helps you see the fly from every angle. And if you're brushing, it just helps that process go a whole lot faster. That's dope. That little magnet right there. Love that thing. Alright, next hook we're going to be using is a B10S Gamakatsu stinger hook in a size 1 as well. I'm going to be using the Ballzeyes on this. Yeah, you want about two hook eyes behind the eye of the hook. Next, we're going to take our trailer wire, tie that in. I like to keep it just a little bit off center on the back side towards me. I think that helps create the loop that this wire makes to connect that rear hook. Sit a little straighter. If you noticed on my scissors, I used the very base of the blade. I feel like obviously if you're clipping wires with the tip of your nice razor scissors, you're gonna dull them out super fast, but that way you don't have to necessarily use two different types of scissors to do everything you need to do with fine cuts and with wire cuts on a single fly. So gonna go ahead and do what we did on the back half on the front here, which is just pulling Marabou off and tying it in for our front half of the fly. Alright, and same thing here, we're going to be tying in our feathers just like the complex twist. Some nice big feathers for the front. So that hitch that I just formed here, well, actually more of a whip finish there, but that's to hold my thread in place while I'm using the rotary function. Just makes life a lot easier, and especially with some 210, you can bulk up a little spot pretty easy. It's easy to back off, but it just makes life a little bit easier for me. And we're just spinning these two feathers in this aqua veil together. Wrap back onto that so it tightens it up. Next we're going to be tying in some more Marabou. Again, just taking the tips of this. This is a dark olive that I'm using here. brush that out a little bit. Alright, last but not least, we're going to be using some Bruiser blend dubbing. This one I'm going to be using the Cali 420 color, which is the color scheme on this whole fly. Going to be using that on the top and the bottom of this head. Definitely want to keep your chunk of material a little wide. You don't want to really mash it down because you want to be able to cover both sides of the head on this fly. Yeah, so what I'm doing here is just pulling these apart, kind of keeping some of those longer fibers out, separating them, just so they're a little more uniform on the length. Brush that out a little bit. That with a little bit of glue. So part of the reason I'm using as much glue as I am is, one, to keep the eyes in place. They are pretty big, and if you smack a rock with your streamer trying to get to the bank, it can easily jostle them loose. Another reason is this material is super slippery, the Bruiser blend is, and it's easy to pull it out. As I was just brushing, I pulled out quite a good chunk of the dubbing as well, so it helps to hit it with just a little bit of glue just to hold those materials in there. Alright, one last clump here on the underside. Hold them down, kind of force them backwards a little bit. And we'll do our whip finish here. And last but not least, to kind of keep that head going backwards, I'm going to put a little bit of flow directly into the Bruiser blend. Awesome things that this UV glue can do. It's great. And that's essentially your final product there. Again, you can tie this in a million different color variations. You know, between the Aqua veil, you could use the polar chenille like in the complex twist bugger. You could use any sort of dubbing loop to create a different type of head, just like the Cheech leech. Definitely have to give some props to Cheech on this one from Fly Fish Food. He knocked it out of the park. We've got these in the bins. We just brought them in. Part of the reason why we're doing this video. We have all the materials for this fly, so if you want to tie them or just buy them, you can do both here at Anglers All. Thanks for watching. Check out our YouTube channel. Look us up on Instagram. Subscribe, like us, and check back with us again. Enjoy streamer season.